Flying first class feels luxurious until you compare it to a private jet. But in 20 these days, how big is the real cost difference? Today, we're breaking down exactly what you get for your money: comfort, time saved, and total price per flight. And one number might surprise you, because in some cases, flying private isn't as out of reach as you think. The base numbers, what you're actually paying. First class on major U.S. carriers for a coast-to-coast flight typically runs between $4,000 and $8,000 for a one-way ticket. That's for the big three: Delta One, United Polaris, or American's flagship First. International first class, you're looking at $15,000 to $30,000 for something like New York to Dubai or Los Angeles to Tokyo. These are the published rates, the ones you'll see when you're browsing online at 2 in the morning wondering if you finally made it. Now, private jets operate on a completely different pricing structure. You've got 3 main options: charter, jet cards, and fractional ownership. Charter is pay-as-you-go, and for that same New York to LA route, a light jet like a Citation CJ3 will run you around $15,000 to $25,000 one way. That's for the entire aircraft, which seats 6 to 8 passengers. A mid-sized jet, something like a Hawker 800 XP, you're looking at $25,000 to $35,000. And if you want the full experience with a heavy jet like a Gulfstream G450, expect to drop $50,000 to $70,000 for that single flight. But here's where it gets interesting. Let's say you're traveling with 3 other people for business. That first-class ticket just became $16,000 to $32,000 total for your group. Suddenly, that $20,000 light jet charter doesn't look so insane, does it? You're in the same ballpark, except now you control everything. Time, the hidden currency nobody calculates. Here's what the airlines won't tell you. First class doesn't save you any time at the airport. You're still showing up 2 hours early for a domestic flight, 3 for international. You're still waiting in line, even if it's a shorter one. You're still boarding 30 minutes before departure, sitting on the tarmac, dealing with air traffic control delays, and then waiting for your bags at the carousel. Let's do the math on a typical business trip. Commercial first class, New York to LA. Arrive at JFK 2 hours early. Board, 5.5-hour flight. 30 minutes deplaning and getting bags, 30 minutes getting ground transportation. You're looking at roughly 8.5 to 9 hours door to door if everything goes perfectly. And we all know it never goes perfectly. Private jet, same route. Arrive at Teterboro 15 minutes before departure. Walk directly to your plane. Board immediately. Same flight time, but often shorter, because you can fly direct routes commercial traffic can't use. Land. Walk off with your bags. Car. Waiting 20 feet away. Total time? 6.5 to 7 hours. And that's conservative. That's a 2-hour difference minimum. If you're billing $300 an hour as a consultant, lawyer, or executive, you just saved $600 in productive time. If you're traveling with 3 colleagues at the same rate, that's $2,400 in recovered billable hours on a single flight. Do this monthly, and suddenly the private jet math starts looking really different. The flexibility factor, what control actually costs. Commercial airlines, even in first class, operate on their schedule. You want to leave at 7:30 in the morning? Great. Here's a 6:45 option and a 9:20 option. Neither works perfectly, but you make it work because you have to. Meeting runs late, flight gets delayed, your connection disappears, you're spending the night in Dallas. Private aviation flips this entirely. You decide the departure time down to the minute. Meeting runs 2 hours over, the plane waits. Need to add a stop in Chicago before heading to LA? Done. Weather looking bad? Your pilot can adjust the route or departure time to avoid the worst of it. This isn't just convenience, it's control over your entire schedule. Stick around until the end to see the one scenario where first class actually beats private jets on cost per mile, plus the hidden fees that can add $10,000 to your charter bill if you're not careful. The real experience, beyond the champagne. First class sells you on the experience. Lie flat beds, fancy meals, premium alcohol, noise-canceling headphones. And look, it's nice. Miles better than economy. Obviously better than business on most airlines. You get around 20 to 23 inches of width in your seat. full recline, decent food that's been reheated at 35,000 feet, but prepared by a real chef on the ground. But you're still sharing a cabin with 30 to 50 other people. You're still hearing conversations, crying babies from economy 2 sections back, the constant drone of announcements. Your meal comes when the crew decides to serve it. You watch movies on a screen that's been touched by 3,000 hands, and your privacy extends exactly to the edge of your seat. Private jets? You're in a living room that happens to be traveling at 500 miles per hour. 8 seats maximum on a light jet. You control the temperature, the lighting, the noise level. Want to have a confidential business conversation? No problem. Need to take a call mid-flight? Many jets have Wi-Fi that actually works, and you're not annoying 60 other passengers. Hungry at a weird time? Your catering is exactly what you ordered, served when you want it. Some jets have full bedrooms, stand-up showers, and seating that was designed for your specific comfort, not optimized for airline economics. The privacy alone is worth calculating. How much is it worth to you to discuss a merger, review confidential documents, or simply work without someone looking over your shoulder? For some industries, that's not a luxury, it's a requirement. Jet cards and fractional, the middle ground. If you're flying private more than 5 to 10 times a year, straight charter starts to make less sense than a jet card or fractional ownership. Jet cards work like a prepaid debit card. You buy a certain number of flight hours, usually starting at 25 hours, and you get locked-in hourly rates plus guaranteed availability. You're looking at roughly $150,000 to $250,000 up front for that 25-hour card on a light jet. The math works out if you fly consistently. You're paying about $6,000 to $10,000 per flight hour, which is less than one-off charter rates, and you avoid most of those surprise fees. Plus, you can call and have a plane ready with as little as 6 to 24 hours notice, depending on your card program. Fractional ownership is the next level. You buy a share of an actual aircraft, typically 1/16th minimum, which gets you about 50 flight hours per year. A 1/16th share of a mid-sized jet costs around $500,000 to $700,000 up front, plus monthly management fees of $10,000 to $15,000, plus an occupied hourly rate of $3,000 to $4,000 when you actually fly. Yes, that's expensive. But if you're flying 100 hours a year, fractional actually becomes cheaper per hour than jet cards, and way cheaper than one-off charters. Plus, you can often sell your share later and recoup some of your investment. When first class actually wins. International long-haul routes are where first class still dominates for most people. New York to Singapore, 14,000 miles round trip in first class, might cost $25,000. A private jet making that trip? You're looking at $300,000 to $500,000. Easy. The aircraft needs fuel stops, crew rest requirements kick in, you're paying for positioning, and the flight time is so long that the time savings become marginal. Similarly, if you're a solo traveler flying domestically without major time constraints, first class makes perfect sense. That $4,000 first class ticket versus a $20,000 charter when you're alone? The math is simple. You'd need to be valuing your time at astronomical rates for private to make sense. The real reason people choose each. Money isn't everything, and the decision often comes down to what you actually value. First class is accessible, predictable, and doesn't require managing relationships with charter companies or understanding aviation logistics. You book a ticket, show up, get treated well, arrive at your destination. For 95% of travelers, even wealthy ones, this is perfectly adequate. Private jets are about control and efficiency at the highest level. You're not just buying a seat, you're buying command of your entire travel experience. The plane waits for you, not the other way around. For some people, that control is worth 5 times the cost. For others, it's an unnecessary extravagance when first class does the job fine. There's no universal right answer, only the right answer for your specific situation, your income level, your travel frequency, and what you're actually trying to accomplish when you fly. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the world of ultimate luxury, a like and a subscription would mean the world. And for those who dream of flying in style, click right here to watch our video on the new private jets coming in 2026. See you in the skies.